Hey everyone, so about a week ago, I did a 24-hour fast. So today, at the time I'm recording this, is a week ago since I did a 24-hour fast. So I ate nothing during that time. Usually, I don't, like, when I'm in the flow state of working on something, whether that's some sort of project, like editing, I don't think about food. So there have been times I've intermittently fasting, meaning like I've sort of stretched out the time between the eat meals, but this is solely not eating anything for 24 hours and just drinking water. As the video goes on, you're going to hear about some struggles and some corrections I had to make within the fast, but rest assured, I didn't eat anything during this 24 hours. So, without further ado, here is the experience of the fast. One Maxwell here. So this morning I began my 24-hour fast from food and only drinking water. I put in some electrolytes in the water to, add some like flavor to the water while also still drinking a liquid. So I started at 9 a.m. So at the time I'm recording this, it's been 3 hours into the fast. And I will say that I will admit before I began this fast, um, I did it very abruptly. So I began most of this fast because I'm basically crucifying my flesh, meaning I'm getting rid of, not like, or I'm training myself for delayed gratification, not to be enslaved by lustful desires for the most part. And so I planned, like, I wrote down a plan what I'd be doing about, I'll be reading, but I mostly want to ideas to read my word, and pray, and also get additional work done, such as editing and just filling up with random activities, such as catching with YouTube videos I haven't caught up on. But for the most part, reading the Bible and praying are the main facets. And I will say that, like I mentioned, I was pretty abrupt, so I didn't give myself a lot of time. I barely give myself much time to prepare, so all I'm thinking about is hunger, hunger, hunger. So I'm just praying to God to help me accomplish more with today, and so that hunger is not the leading thought, because I have a lot of free time today. This morning, thankfully though, this morning I went out for a walk. I went and attended a coaching call for this program I'm in, so which was an hour, and so that was helpful. And earlier in the morning I was watching some like YouTube videos, like informing about like Christianity, and then later on, when I came home, I realized, oh shoot, I gotta walk my dog. So I did that, and so he's sleeping now, and now I'm just recording this video. So now I'm just going to be getting in the Word and praying and refining my mind for this process of fasting, and just not to be thinking about hunger so much, just so I can just progress with this journey of becoming, a pure man. And yeah, that's the update so far.
Hey guys, Maxwell here. So I am in hour 6 of the fast. Yeah, I think one, two. Yeah, hour 6. So it's past 3 p.m. I started the fast at 9 a.m. I will say that there has been a lot of there was a point where there was a lot of temptation. Really, where, what was it? Yeah, like there was temptation, where I peaked, like, not at like food, but like into like for less, like food really hasn't been like the main temptation. It's just more been with like lust. But as soon as I was peaking a little bit, which it wasn't something too severe, but I was rebuking thoughts in Jesus' name, and kept sent prayers to get myself out of my flesh. And so now I'm just going for a walk to clear my mind some more, just get my body going, and just to keep my mind focused on the Spirit, kind of focused on why I'm doing this fast as well. So and also watch some. So David Goggins has been a huge inspiration for me. So basically, I'm watching a podcast with him, one he was on with Joe Rogan. So I'm watching that, and so now I'm just on this walk, starting this walk, and I just we're gonna still listen to that podcast, answer some messages, and yeah, keep going.
What's going on, everybody? Maxwell here. So it is hour 9 into the fast, and I will say that there are improvements I definitely would want to make for next time, even though I'm not even halfway through yet, because without me realizing, I definitely took some shortcuts, not with like eating like nibbles of food, but shortcuts when it came to not being super specific on the type of water I drank, because I put water, but thoughts crept in of, maybe it'll still be water if I put, electrolytes in it, even if it has a flavor, it'll still be water. But before I did this fast, basically it was a module where I wrote down exactly what was going to happen in the fast. I just put water. I didn't put, water with electrolytes is also applicable or is also allowed. I didn't put that in. So I basically put in some shortcuts that I didn't want to do. And especially when I was drinking, I also drank seltzer today, a little bit of seltzer, that is slightly flavored, but like I mentioned before, on the module and the contract I wrote, I didn't put seltzer down. I just put water. So I basically just poured out the seltzer because, I don't want to keep taking that shortcut. And as well as, oh my gosh, I was watching, what was it? I started watching another David Goggins podcast, so that's kind of on TV, so it's kind of distracting me. But outside of that, today I got into the Word. I was reading the book of Isaiah, and still had, was like at war with the flesh, with the spirit of the flesh. So I actually still had a lot of lustful thoughts. So, which, this is why I'm up here, because I was watching a podcast about David Goggins. But when I was watching on my phone, I was basically searching up like content on YouTube I shouldn't have been searching up, or was tempting. So I was like, nope, put the phone down, go upstairs, continue watching the same podcast. So I feel like I've made progress at that in taking control of my time. Part of me, though, I feel like I could have done more today when it came to what I could accomplish. But that's just what. But you live and you learn. Because I definitely started this fast very abruptly. I didn't take time beforehand, in-depthly prepare. I making sure I was 100% disciplined with everything going into this fast. It all happened so fast. I did that onto myself just for the sake of completing it, because I don't want to think about doing it and never doing it. So that was just what happened. Though overall, I am proud of myself for not, caving into both lust and both just, snacking. But there's still a lot of work I have to do within myself for the future. See what happens in the next coming hours. And also the next time I more, more consciously do a fast and have more extensive planning beforehand. Because this fast, it was close to like 11 hours beforehand. So there wasn't that, let me see, what was it, like 1, 2, 3, it was like 8 hours beforehand, so there's not much preparation. Yeah, 8 hours beforehand. So I know this is the longest update out of everything so far, but just big revelations and big, like, truths that I found, just realizing that I felt like I've been too comfortable so far, which is why I've allowed temptation to permeate my mind, but I will keep going. What's going on, Maxwell here? So it is, hour 16? Yeah, hour 16, yeah. Like, I just thought of it before I'm recording this. Like, I knew it was correct, but then for some reason I had to do a double take. But it's hour 16. Man, I'm actually, like, impressed that I wasn't like starving the whole time. I think I drank a lot of water, and that was a substitute for eating. But I was actually surprised that the lust was a big struggle for me. Like, I kept having lustful thoughts, and I kept having to rebuke the thoughts, and it was more like a coping mechanism. I had the urge to peak, but then I was like, no, I don't. That's not in God's will. Obviously, I get this away from me, and then I was just taking some time to reflect about moving forward, what I learned from the fast, moving forward with overcoming lust as well. And it's been an eye-opening experience for sure. Gave me some time for introspection, and because I actually had way more free time from not eating, or maybe because I would have been because, like, I don't know, there's just something about fasting that gave me this, that set something off of my brain that wanted to make me more introspective, because I often am an introspective person, but I noticed when I've had days in the past, I've just been eating. When I eat, I kind of have a routine schedule, and also I think the gym takes up a big chunk of time too, so I was taking a break from that. So at the time we recording this, it is 8:51, so I have 9 minutes left of the fast, and because I started it at 9 a.m. yesterday, technically it's slightly longer because of not eating between, but that I didn't put the time there like I mentioned before. So overall, I am proud of the progress that I've made. I was pretty surprised at how much, thoughts of lust and temptation, like lustful temptation, I got more than temptation to go to food. But that was the experience, really. And I did notice, though, that even amidst those like lustful temptations, I had just last night after my last check-in video, or it was like, yeah, after the last check-in video, I spent some prayer time with God and just praying about my purity journey and why I'm doing it. And also I've had multiple times of prayer of why I'm doing this fast as well. And I would say, yeah, I've learned a lot about pushing myself and realizing that you have time for everything the more that you make time for it. Because I had so much surge of like thoughts of discipline where I was thinking, man, which unfortunately I didn't do this yesterday, but I was thinking about, oh man, the library and getting some editing work done, and it wasn't. I noticed I wasn't feeling like wishy-washy about it, or I wasn't thinking, oh man, how long it's gonna take, is it worth it to start? I think that's a struggle most people have, where they want to take action on one thing, but they realize that it's going to sacrifice and take the place of something else, realizing that they can't get everything done in one day. And those people who can get a lot done in one day, that's a practice that they've inherited over time, and they've practiced over time. It hasn't just snapped, in one day, and they're able to accomplish every little thing in one day. Is the process. This fast has taught me about that accomplishing activities in a day is a process, especially when you're battling thoughts of, like I mentioned, with lust, and also battling thoughts of, oh man, I'm hungry. All I can think about is I'm hungry. Though, like I mentioned in the last video, I'm going to be planning more extensively for a future fast. Like that's an idea. I can't think of the particular date, but I kind of feel like with the fast there has to be intense intentionality with it. So yeah, that was been my experience. I would say I got more immersed in the word because of the fast. And I feel like time and space just extended more. I just had more time. It felt like I actually felt like I could walk out more. An ironic thing when I'm talking about, all you can only fit so much time for one thing. The ironic part, though, about the fast is that there'd be times where I'm walking outside and like I'm going for a walk and I'm coming back and I realize that not as much time has flown by that I thought it would. It was a crazy thought. Maybe it's because when our mind is not constantly filled up with ideas, that I think when we eat food, like food is energy, and our mind is putting forth the energy of the food that we intake. It's sort of like it's basically, it felt like time was extended in the mind, and that's how the mind perceived it. But that's just my experience. I'm curious to hear other people's thoughts in regards to fasting and seeing who has had experiences where they've had to fast, if they've decided to fast again to have a more refined experience, because that's what I intend to do for the future. Okay, so I'm not sure why I'm recording this, like, it's like 3 hours after the fast. I don't know why I have to count the numbers. Like, obviously I know the time, but 3 hours after the fast, yeah, that I'm recording this. But yeah, so the aftermath, it's pretty much the same. Like, I do notice that that at certain time, I think at certain times during the day, in general, my body just gets hungry. Like, I don't get constantly hungry. I'm pretty satisfied most of the time. So going back to normal, like, with eating food, I just ate some Magic Spoon cereal, blueberry, and I actually did feel a difference. I was shocked that I wasn't as ravenous as I thought it would be. So I practiced a lot of self-control, even going back to, eating in general. So that's a benefit I would say I've gained from this. I like, or that's like a more of a that's more of a self-awareness, benefit. Because I was initially going to say, in general, when I'm eating, I usually take my time. I nowadays, I'm very slow. I used to be such a quick eater, and I would, cough from eating so fast. But in general, I'm usually a slow eater, so I believe this fast really just helped me gain that perspective of, like, just living in the moment and eating slow and just appreciating the food that I have. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the aftermath. And I would say for the fast in general, similarly, we keep mentioning this, but similarly, the last updates, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I was shocked how many lustful urges I got. That's not something now that I was expecting, because the scripture mentions that. I feel like I'm going to have to put up the specific scripture on the screen, because I'm forgetting the book and the chapter and the verse. But basically, since I was doing this for God, the flesh and the spirit are waging war against each other. So I've experienced that both with food and the desire for sex also. And yeah, more sex more than food. That's just where my brain turned towards. But uh, yeah, I'm grateful for this fasting experience, and I have a new perspective about, like, moving forward, just with my walk with God and walk with everything, with overcoming lust, and yeah, those are my main 2 points. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.